Hello guys, I'm Katvalk and welcome to my unboxing channel. No, I'm just kidding, this is my main and only channel, but I'm opening a lot of art supply boxes, hope you don't mind. Anyone who loves delicious art supplies like I do know how hard it is to stay away from them. I got this box for free to show you guys and hopefully you will see or learn something new. Sketchbox is an art supply subscription box and every month they will send out a new one with new materials inside for us to try out. So let's check out the box of August, and there are a lot of interesting stuff in there. First, the usual things like some paperworms and a sticker. Then we have this month's featured artist, that is Roger Ladouceur. I don't know how to pronounce that. I think it's French, perhaps. Anyway, he made this awesome pencil drawing of a lighthouse, and it's always fun to read about the artists. Next card has all the information you will need about the supplies inside the box, with pictures and retail prices and all that fancy stuff. I got the premium box this month. First supplies in the box are a few different kinds of soft graphite pencils. We have one from Derwent, Dark Wash 8B, and the second one is called General Sketch and Wash. The third one is called Watercolor Graphite Aquarelle. And what they all have in common is that they are all quite soft and that they are water soluble. So they are like graphite watercolors or watercolor pencils, which I think is very interesting. I haven't worked with these kinds of pencils before, so I am very curious about them. And a whole bunch of different erasers. One softer eraser from Watercolor in this nice looking shape. And second is a General's gum eraser, which seems to be a bit harder than the first one. It looks a bit like a soap in the color. And the third one is a General's kneaded eraser that you can shape in any way you like. It's almost like a clay, kind of. And there are some differences between these ones, but I will try them out in just a bit and let you know how they work and what they feel like. A paper blending stick, and you use it to blend graphite or charcoal or even color pencils or dry pastel. Instead of using your fingers, you can use this one, so this is very nifty. Last but not least is this Faber-Castell Pit Graphite set. In the set we have one jumbo and one regular graphite pencil, and one water-soluble pencil, two kinds of pure graphite pencils, one thin and one crayon-like, another eraser and a pencil sharpener. I will take a closer look at all these materials in just a second. So yeah, that's all the supplies inside the box, and I must say that it was quite generous this month. Also, if you would be interested in getting a sketchbox yourself to try out, go to getsketchbox.com and use the code Frederated2016 to get 10% off on your first order. Now let's try out the supplies. Since there are so many different supplies in the box, I will start with just trying them out to see what I got to work with, as usual. As I said, it's a very generous box this month, and even if some supplies are quite similar, it's nice to get different brands to compare to each other. I tried out the watercolor graphite, and I don't know the real term for it, so I will just call them watercolor graphite. So they do almost look the same, but some looked a little more pigmented, like the Watercolor one that had a charcoal feeling to it and was quite soft. The General's one turned out a little lighter than the other ones. I also had to try out all the erasers, so I drew with one 6B pencil and one 2B to see which one that erased the best. And it's hard to fully erase softer graphite, but to me it seemed like the Faber-Castell eraser did the best job. The General's gum eraser was also pretty good, but it also left a lot of dust on the paper, which I'm not that fond of. The kneaded eraser you can't really count since it's not made to erase on larger areas like this. Then to the actual drawing. I didn't really had any plans for this at first. I just used all the supplies at random to try them out. It's nice to work with a lot of supplies, but it also makes it harder for me to talk about all of them. But I used the 2B pencil for lighter areas, and then I darkened some parts with the Faber-Castell pure lead pencil, the thinner one. I really like this one since it was very pigmented and it didn't leave a lot of graphite dust on the paper. So I'm trying to draw people with more face expressions since I got so-called critique about that I draw people that looks the same, but to defend myself just a little, I am actually quite new to drawing faces without using references. I am still learning, so please bear with me. I also have a certain way that I like to draw the facial features, so that may also be the reason why they might look the same, but I'm trying my very best to get out of my comfort zone and become better. So this girl looks a bit concerned, like she got something on her mind that she's worried about. I think I just drew myself the latest week. I used the watercolor graphite for the background. They turned out really dark and it gave the drawing a nice depth, I think. And testing them a bit more now, I think I like the Derwent one the most since it dissolved really easy. And I also like the Faber-Castell watercolor pencil. It was a little harder and therefore lighter, so I used it for the lighter shades on her face. I usually don't use paper blending sticks since we learned not to in art classes. Since you are rubbing the graphite down in the paper fibers, it gets almost impossible to erase afterwards. We were taught to blend with the pencils themselves, but really do whatever you like, whatever floats your boat. I found it very helpful in this case to smooth out the graphite and it gave the art piece a nice and soft look. I also used the kneaded eraser to create highlights like on the lips and nose and eyes. So yeah, I'm just using the supplies at random, layering the watercolor graphite with the regular graphite pencils, and since I'm not using any references or anything, I just do a little what I feel like, which is very relaxing. I like the way it turns out and I enjoy this month's supplies, especially the watercolor graphite and the pure lead pencil. I think I will use them more for future work. And my least favorite was the pure lead crayon. It was really messy and dirty to work with. And as I mentioned before, if you like to try out the box, click on the link in the description box. I think it's a great way to find out about and try out new supplies and techniques. I hope you liked this video and this drawing. Leave a like and a comment if you did. Please let me know if you are still enjoying these art supply unboxing videos. I know I love making them anyway, but I always appreciate your feedback. Thank you so much for watching and keep drawing my happy cats. Bye!